Hi, I'm Luke Sevcik with Wacker Neuson University, and in this short video we're going to go through the 3 different solutions that Wacker Neuson offers for you to move water. So the first type of pumps we're going to talk about from Wacker Neuson are going to be the submersible pumps. These pumps are going to run off of some type of electrical source, whether it's going to be plugged into your house or running off of a generator. The nice thing about these types of pumps is that you can hook up an electrical float to this to monitor the water level, so you don't have to stand there and monitor the actual pump working during the application. The benefits of having a small submersible pump like this is exactly that. It's small, it's quiet because it's actually lowered into the water, so you don't hear an engine running in the background. It does move smaller volumes compared to some of our gas-powered pumps, but it does work well in a lightweight interior or exterior application. The second type of pump that Wacker Neuson offers is a centrifugal gas-powered trash pump. This pump can move large volumes of water. It does need fuel, so you're going to operate this outside. It does come with its own strainer that we want you to use because it'll dictate the size of the solids that it can pass through, hence that's why it's called a trash pump. The one difference between a submersible pump and this pump, however, is that you need to prime it initially, which means you have to pull this cap off and then fill this house with water in order for it to function the first time around. But after that, as long as there's water in here, it'll continue to pump water every time you turn it on. The other thing is that you cannot put a float system on these types of pumps, so they do need to be monitored in order for it to function properly and you don't run it dry. The third type of pump we're going to offer then is going to be what's called a diaphragm pump. These are going to be a gas-driven pump, but the big difference between this gas-driven pump and a centrifugal pump is that this is going to move very small amounts of water in a very slow period of time. What it does is basically it will draw in a volume of water, put it into the house, and then eject it out the other side. So instead of moving water with large particles, this will move a slurry mix, which could be sand-laden water or clay-laden water, but it's going to move it in very small amounts over a period of time. One of the big differences between all 3 of these pumps then is going to be the limitation of how far it can actually draw water. Centrifugal pumps and diaphragm pumps are going to be limited to about 25 feet of draw from the water surface up to the pump and then discharges out. Submersible pumps, however, have variations, but these typically go much deeper into the water because they work differently in a centrifugal way than this type of pump does or how a diaphragm pump does. So you can get down to maybe say 80 to 100 feet versus these are limited to basically 25 feet of water depth. So the big similarity between all 3 of these pumps is that Wacker Neuson offers a quick coupler system, as you can see here. It threads onto the coupler, and instead of having to actually thread on a hose to it, you just simply snap over the top of it and then lock it down. So you're going to have the same offering for submersible pump, diaphragm pump, or trash or dewatering pumps that we offer. When it comes to submersible pumps, you can either use what we would call a suction hose, or you can use a discharge hose in order for it to work. When it comes to centrifugal gas-powered pumps or diaphragm pumps are going to need to use what we call a suction hose. This is a very rigid, stiff hose. Versus on a centrifugal pump, you're going to use 2 different types of hoses. First, you're going to have your suction hose on this side, where you're drawing the water into this end of the pump. And then on the opposite side, where you're pushing the water out, you're going to have the discharge hose. It's soft and supple. You can couple several lengths of these together in order to move the water longer distances. So whether you're looking for something that's small and lightweight that requires electricity or something larger that's going to be gas operated, we have all the solutions you're going to need for moving water. For more solutions, be sure to visit wackerneuson.com or your local Wacker Neuson dealer.